Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful Monday, and that that you're blessed, that you're warm, that you're safe, and that you are enjoying. Probably at this time, if you are here in the U.S., you are probably enjoying some lunch. It's about 12:30 a.m. or p.m. now, and I'm finishing up my second cup of coffee and just going over some of the things that I've been journaling and just things that I've been thinking about that I kind of wanted to share with you. But before that, I would like to say Happy Veterans Day to all you veterans out there. And if you have family members that are veterans, it's just such an amazing thing to know that there are people who are willing to put their life on the line for others that they don't even know. And it's just they deserve honor and respect, and they definitely deserve more than what they get, for sure. And one other thing, I would like to ask for prayers for our cat Cassie. She's about 15 and a half years old, and she's been sick over the last few days. And so one thing that I've been thinking about, and it's been on my mind for quite a while, but it seemed to really, I guess, become a bigger forefront of the mind, I guess, this weekend. And partially because when I was at the store on Saturday, I deal with anxiety, right? I deal with what is called, I believe it's general anxiety disorder with agoraphobia. And it's really hard for me to be around crowds of people. I have to really prepare myself for it. I have to do this, sort of detach the situation. If I need to be around people, I have to, it's a process. So when I do go out, especially grocery shopping or things like that, it can be very, very hard. It's like, I either have to have somebody with me, but the somebody with me has to be somebody that I trust to be able to take care of a situation if I have to leave. If I have to go out and get in the car, I know I can trust this person to finish the grocery shopping, or to just be there. And this weekend, me and my mother-in-law went, and my husband took us. He drove us there and everything, but I thought, no, I'm feeling okay. I think I can do this. So we dropped him off at the skate park, and we went to Walmart. And I don't know if it was extra packed. It could have been, but I think it's always pretty packed. Walmart's always like that, but it seemed worse. And I think probably because of the snowstorm that we just had, most people were stuck at home. So people were out getting all their necessities, stocking up, and plus it's the beginning of the month, and all of this stuff. So it was pretty hard as it was. And then I always feel like I need to be aware, first of all, hyper aware of my surroundings, but I also want to be detached. And I also need my headphone in with either music on or just in, to just kind of make it less noisy, I guess. And then also when my mother-in-law is with me, I want to make sure she's okay. And because she is 78 years old, and I want to make sure that everything's going okay. But this Saturday was just, I don't know what it was. I don't know if I was just already more anxious than normal. I don't know, because I felt fine, it seemed. I went in, I started grocery shopping. She went to go do her part. She went to go to the craft aisle, and I went into the grocery part. I couldn't remember what I was there for. I had a list with me. I kept forgetting things. I was getting stuff, and even she asked me this time, did you get such and such a thing? Because she was done with her stuff, and she had her list, which basically I added her list to my list so that, I could get this stuff. And I had passed right by one of the things. Literally, it was in that aisle. We were both in that aisle. And I had looked at the list and I just couldn't remember. It was just my body was so tense. I had that I couldn't catch my breath feeling, like I'm just like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out soon. But I knew I was almost done. I just needed to finish because there was things that I absolutely needed and I needed to get it done. And I didn't want to leave her in there alone. And, just things. So we continued. She went and did the rest that she needed to do. And she went to get veggies and I went to go get the rest. I went to go find her because I did have to go to the pharmacy, pick up a prescription, and then I went back to find her, and she was in the veggies still. But she was talking to another lady, someone she had just met or something, and I saw that, and I was like, nope, I'm not going over there because I'm going to have a conversation, and I just couldn't deal with it. Like, even now, just talking about it, it's like, I can feel that, like, anxiety rise. So I went and into where the clothes are because there's hardly anybody in there. I think there's like one other person way on the other side. So I went in there and I just kind of waited and waited because I could kind of see her. But then she disappeared, so I had to go look again. And I think we were looking for each other. And finally we got out of there. And I'm in the car and I'm like, part of it too is like we hadn't eaten and this was already like later in the afternoon because we left here closer to noon probably, because we wanted to make sure that the roads weren't going to be icy or anything because it was still pretty cold and they were cleared, but with the slush and stuff, I was just hoping, we'll go later. Anyway, we get to Sprouts. I knew what I needed there. There was like a handful of things and I know where they're at. Like there's certain, and I guess part of my process and part of my preparation to go somewhere, I try to memorize the store as best that I can. Because and I hate when they move everything, and Walmart's, Smith's, Albertsons, places, they all tend to move things. And I'm just like, why? Why do you move them? I memorized them. I know where I'm going. So when I have just a handful of things, I know exactly where to go and I go get them. And Sprouts, thankfully, has pretty much stayed the same from, the time that I went. So I went and got, I think I got like 4 or 5 things and one thing new to try, because I really wanted Raisin Bran, which I got at Sam's, and I cannot drink milk. So I found my brother, I think I've said this before, he has, I think it's called Better Goods oat milk from Walmart, but I didn't get one, and they're the half gallons, and I thought, what if I don't like it? And I thought, no, you know what, I'll find something smaller. And at Sprouts, they had, I don't know, it was called oat milk. It's MALK. And it was in a smaller container. And I thought, you know what? I'll try it. If I don't like it in my cereal, if I really can't handle it, it'll be fine in my coffee. Right. So I got that and I got out of there. And I'm thinking, we need to eat something because I'm just like, I could feel my sugars dropping. I was like high anxiety already. And I was like, I didn't know what to do, but I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want fast food. I was just like, last time I ate fast food, I got sick. And I didn't want to go sit down in a restaurant. I didn't want to deal with people. So I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? And I still have Sam's to go to because I still had things that we absolutely needed that we needed to go get. So here we are at Sam's. And my mother-in-law was having issues with her feet. So I had her sit in the cafe area and I figured I'll just go get this stuff. And that'll give me a little bit, I don't have to worry about having to make sure she's okay and she's walking fine. Like she's sitting down, she's, she got something to eat or whatever. And I called my dad on the phone because I knew Ben was skating and I thought I don't want to call him and, bother him. So I called my dad and just had a conversation while I was walking around. Then, got my last thing, got in line. And I talked to him until I was next in line and the girl was done and I had to get that done. And then I thought, okay, I'll just eat here. Because they have all beef hot dogs and they have pizza, which I kind of have. I had a all beef hot dog and we sat there and ate. And she ordered pizza to come home for dinner, and that's what the guys had. My husband and his dad had for dinner. And by the time I was out of there, it was just like I was so exhausted and so like. I couldn't function anymore. Like I barely, like, I got to where my husband was at. I'm like, okay, I'm not driving home. Like, he drove there, and I thought, well, I'll drive home. He can eat I had got him a slice of pizza for lunch. It was already late, but I thought, well, I'll get him a slice of pizza for lunch. And I thought, well, I'll let him, be the passenger. He could eat it on the way home. There's no way. I was like, no, I can't. And he's like, no, it's fine. He said, I'll just eat when I get home. So he drove us home, got home, and I needed to put the stuff away. And I'm like, okay, I think I have enough, like, where I'm home, so I can do this. So between me and my mother-in-law, we got all this stuff put away. And then I just came in here and I was just like, okay, can't do this anymore. I just need to sit down and just try to recuperate some of, I don't even know if I'd call it energy, just something. And like, even now talking about it, I can just feel it. Like, even my body gets this like weak feeling, and I get the start of a headache. And it's just like, where does this come from? Where does this anxiety come from? And, it's like, it's fear based, right? It's a fear of something. I don't know what the fear is. Because I can't say, sorry, coffee break. I can't say that I'm not afraid of people. It's not like I'm afraid of them. I'm like, it's not that. It's not a fear of people that I can say that I'm just afraid they're going to hurt me. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's part of my issue. I don't think so. I'm not, I don't know what the fear is. I don't know. And I keep thinking, well, where does this come from? Why am I struggling so much with this? And I think it was our last, I don't know if it was our last reading that we did together, for my Bible study group, Bible study group. I was trying to find I should have gotten it out. I just had it here on the desk. Because we talked about fear, and something that I wrote down that we talked about, here it is, really kind of showed me something that was going on with me. Now, granted, some of this stuff comes from past traumas, learned behavior, possibly genetics. There's been a lot of people in my family who have anxiety and different things. But trying to find, I don't remember. I'm almost positive that it was the last time that we were talking, but that we did our Bible study. We were talking about fear and how fear comes in through Satan. We were talking about this, and I don't think I shared this already, but in Genesis, chapter 3, they're talking about where Adam, God calls out to him, and Adam says, I was afraid because I was naked. That's why he hid from him, right? Well, fear came through Satan, right? So I'm thinking, okay, so what is it that happens? What is it that causes this fear for me, this anxiety, right? Because since I was a child, before I even remember, before I can say that I understood the message of the Bible fully, before I understood it, I already was just like, I believed that it was the truth. I believed that salvation came through him. That's Cassie. She's, when she wakes up, she just kind of cries. So, you okay, baby? She's trying to, she calls out. And she's laying closer to Graham now. So I was writing about this the other day, and how fear seeps in, right? And the biggest issues, or the hold on, let me check on her. Okay, sorry about that. She just laid right by his face and went back to sleep. I think she just gets really cold and she just gets scared and wants to snuggle, but she was with me earlier under a blanket, but she really wants to be with the dog. She just wants him to love her. So he got up a little, and then once she settled in, he settled back down. So I think she'll be okay there with him. Okay, so back to the fear. My journal entry for the 8th. I was talking about, attitudes and what triggers our attitudes, what triggers fear, what triggers different things in us, and how we react to things and all of that, right? So, I wrote something that I struggle with sometimes because, like I said before, I don't remember a time not believing in God, not believing in Yeshua and the salvation through his death and resurrection on the cross. And before I even understood it fully, I believed. So there's times this anxiety and everything makes me wonder. There are days when I wonder what my purpose is. What did God send me to this earth? Or why did God send me to this earth? Why did he knit me together in my mother's womb? Why did he call my heart to him as a child and allow me to fully love and believe in him before I fully understood his message? And even then, I longed for a life enveloped in his love and sharing that love with others, standing firm in truth and sharing that with others. I wanted and still want my life to count for something more, something that matters to the Lord and the furthering of his kingdom. I want my life to shine a light on other people's paths to Yeshua, Jesus. All I ever wanted to do in life was be involved in ministry. I've shared that before. I wanted to have time to read the Bible, study the Bible, and discuss it with others. And one thing that I said is I have that now, and I have for quite some time, and I guess I didn't realize it. I wanted a love that would last a lifetime, that was founded on God, and praise God, because I do have that. And it's, it took me a while to get to see these answered prayers, because I'm always worried. I'm always anxious. I'm always like struggling to guess, like, be okay with people and not have any drama, not have any issues. And fear is one of my biggest issues. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of all the things that, like, even with my health, it's just like fear of things getting worse. And I keep thinking, why would I, as a child, like I shared here, why would I believe and that, like, so then why do I have this anxiety? Why do I have this fear? And there's a lot of things that happened when I was younger, that I saw happening, just that I think kind of caused some of that fear in me. But during our study, when I think, I'm not sure if it was Vicky or which one who said this, but the fear came through Satan, through his manipulation, his temptation, he did his little thing, and they fell for his lies in the temptation, right? Well, in that, this fear comes over them. Fear that now God's not going to love you. God is, going to hate you because you did this thing wrong. And so that's the spirit of fear comes through that. So, like, I think that's where I struggle. I struggle that if I am not good enough, if I don't do the right thing all the time, if I don't do this perfectly, if I don't, whatever it is that is in front of me, if I don't have like the perfect relationships with other people that God has put in my life, like family, friends, anything, if there's just a little bit of contention, it's like I freak out, my whole body freaks out. Like it literally, I get sick and like I shut down. Like I get sick with migraines, everything. My whole body just like gets sick if I have some sort of argument or something, or even if I think that something like that's going to happen because something was said or somebody looked like had this look on their face or whatever. And so I think that's my struggle. That's my struggle here, even living here, because this is my in-laws' place. And there's part of me that knows it's fine and we're fine here. And, we contribute what we contribute and what we can do for them. And they let us stay here. And it works, but I think I'm just afraid that what if something happens and we have to leave? Where are we going to go? Well, we don't have a vehicle. How are we going to get out of here? We have our pets. We have, it's this fear of things that probably will never happen. And so I wanted to share that because I think a lot of us have this kind of fear. Maybe we don't all struggle with extreme anxiety or, fear of being out in public or fear of whatever that actually is debilitating to us. But we do struggle with that. And if we're not careful, those little fears that Satan puts in front of us, like puts in your mind, and they can take over really quickly. And I think for me, after I asked all these questions, I was praying and asking, why would you allow this for me? Why would you give me this desire to be in ministry? Why would you give me this desire to just be in your presence always? But yet I'm struggling with all these things that I shouldn't struggle with, right? Because I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, I shouldn't struggle with this. I shouldn't have these anxieties and everything, but I'm human, right? We're going to struggle. So I thought, I'm afraid of not having the life that I envision. Yet what he has planned is always better. If I just stop and take that, like surrender that fear to him, I can see all the blessings, all the answered prayers in the midst of the anxiety, in the midst of all the issues. Because even though I may struggle to go out to the store and get groceries, the fact that I was even able to get there and go in, and during this panic attack process where I was like almost hyperventilating and having issues, I was just praying and praying and praying. The fact that I could do that and finish and get out of there is a blessing, and that's an answered prayer, because there have been times where I just walk out. There's been times I can't get out of the car at all. And it's hard to share that with people because if you haven't been there, it's really hard to understand what that means. It's hard to understand that sometimes you can't just do it. You can't just push through. It just doesn't work sometimes. Sometimes you do need to take a step back and just rest and, stay home under the covers and watch movies and eat popcorn. Sometimes we need that. I just struggle with that too. I struggle with allowing myself those moments. So one other thing that I shared here, and this is the part where I think I sort of realized that my biggest issue is fear. I never wanted to accept that because I don't feel like I'm afraid. And I think it's because when anxiety hits me, anxiety attacks, panic attacks, when they come out of nowhere. I'm feeling fine. And there's times that I felt fine before and I go grocery shopping. I mean, granted, maybe it was a different situation. I don't know. And get done with it and I'm fine and I don't have that struggle. I do still deal with some of the, I'm really tired afterwards, and I, sometimes deal with a little bit more pain because my body's tense. But as far as a full-blown panic attack, it doesn't always happen. So it's, I try to overanalyze the situation. Oh, excuse me, got the hiccups. Excuse me. I try to overanalyze the situation, and I want to pinpoint where that fear comes from, right? Why am I afraid of being around people? Why am I afraid? Well, sometimes doing that causes me more stress because I'm trying to find something that I may not find the answer to the reason why. But I have the answer to who can help me through, who can help me heal. And so in this journal entry, I wrote in, it's time to heal and allow myself to feel all the emotions, because that's where I struggle the most. I stuff them all away, and I think that's why these panic attacks and anxiety attacks and different things come up in ways and in times where I don't expect them, because I think I'm okay, because I stuff them all in this little corner somewhere, and then I detach myself. Like disassociation is a thing for me. So, and then I wrote, to go through the emotions with Adonai by my side, with the Lord by my side, that's when freedom comes. It's time to kick the enemy out and stop living in fear and and start living in freedom and victory in Yeshua. If he is with me, who can be against me? And even though the enemy still comes and he still will bring up all these things to try to keep us in fear, I think that if we just focus on the one who we have victory through, our refuge, we have our strength through him, through the Lord, and he's there to catch us when we fall. He's there to, when we're dealing with that panic, that anxiety, that issue, he is there, and he's not going to just leave us alone in it. He's going to be there with us through it, and he's going to help us through, and and maybe like the healing parts, that's where I struggle the most. I want it fixed, and I want it fixed now. And I learned some things today that's going to be for another video, kind of about that situation, the whole want things done and want them done now, and that idea of control and all of that. But this is something that we need to keep at the forefront of our minds. Yes, we're going to struggle. Yes, the enemy's going to attack us. Yes, we may have different sicknesses, physical, mental, have emotional issues. We're going to struggle in this life. That's scriptural. It says there in the Bible, it tells us that. But we have victory in him, and we know about eternity if we just have hope. Hold on to the hope. And when those times come, like for me, when I have panic attacks, when I'm feeling like that, I just pray in the middle of it all, because breathing techniques don't always work for me sometimes, but sometimes I hyperventilate. Sometimes that the idea of like stopping and looking around and seeing things like, okay, I see something blue, I can touch something cold, or one thing I did recently see is if to carry sour candies around with you, because it's supposed to help to like kind of shock you a little bit out of that, because now you're focused on that sour stuff, and I love sour stuff, so I'm going to start carrying some sour candy with me. If any of you know of the like really good sour candy that's really sour, let me know in the comments below. But I just want to give God all the glory, because even though it was a really hard Saturday, it was really tough to get through all of that, I was able to get through it. I was able to get what I needed. There was only like a couple of things on my list that I never got, because I totally forgot. But for the most part, I got what I needed. And I got I was able to drive around safely, even though I was feeling that way. We were able to sit and eat at Sam's Club, and I was able to feel a little bit better from just having that physically. Um, my husband got us home safely, and I was able to just sit and not have to worry about anything anymore. And I am just here in my, in the cabin and just staying warm and staying, having our pets around, having been around. And I don't have any more appointments this week. I had therapy this morning over the phone. And this week, I don't have anything else that I have to do. So if I want to just stay home all week, I can. And I can just, like I said, I longed for being just enveloped in his love and in his presence. I can do that. I can sit here and read the Bible every single day, all day if I want to, in between doing things that I really need to do. But I mean, I don't have to worry about going out and dealing with the public right now. I can give myself some time and just sit with him and allow him to begin that healing in me. And I think we all need that. And I know that it's not easy for all of us. Some people, watching here have jobs, they have children that they have to care for, and just different things going on. But if we can start setting aside even a few moments, because when I worked, um, I knew I needed my time in the Word. I needed my time in prayer. I needed some time with trusted people. So I lived out of town for a little while. It was about 30-minute drive into town, my hometown. It was 30 minutes out of my hometown to a little further east of where my hometown is. And I had to drive in every day for work. I had to be at work by 8 o'clock. So I would drive in. I'd get up and drive in I'd make it there between 5:30 and 6 a.m. and I'd meet Margie at Daylight Donuts, our favorite place. The maple old fashioned, amazing, and coffee. And we would sit and we'd have prayer. We'd talk about whatever we were reading in the Word and just share what the Lord had been showing us, share what was on our heart. And it was so wonderful to have that time. Yes, that meant me getting up a lot earlier. That meant me trying to get to bed earlier and all of that stuff, but it was worth that sacrifice. And I think for people who struggle with this, it's worth taking some time, even if it's just 10 minutes that you can have in prayer with the Lord in your Word, and just even if you write down your prayers and write down those fears and get them out. Because for me, I can pretend it doesn't exist really easy if I don't speak it out loud. If it's just in my head, it'll be there going over and over and over and over in my head, but I don't have to deal with it. Nobody else knows, right? And yeah, God knows. But if I write it down, it's like all of a sudden it becomes real for me, like really real. And somebody could read this. Or if I tell my husband, or I tell but Margie, like that's usually who I tell, my sisters, it's real then. And now I have to deal with it. And so even here on this YouTube channel, when I share these things with you, they make them real, even though they're already real, but they make them real in the sense that now I spoke it out. I talked about it. It's out. It's getting out of me. It's not weighing me down the same way. It's outside now, and I don't need to pick this back up. I need to work through this, walk through this with the Lord, not stay stuck in it. And so this is my process, my healing journey. It may take the rest of my life, which probably will. But it's about these moments, about the journey with the Lord and with trusted people and family, and that making those memories and just being able to see the blessings in the midst of the chaos. And so before I end this, I wanted to read a psalm, one of my favorite psalms. And I'm going to read today out of the NRSV. I got this at the thrift store a while back, the C.S. Lewis Bible. It has his different things from his books, I'm guessing, and devotionals and things that he's written in between. So I'm going to start sharing those as well, because they really do, there's some really good ones in here. So today I want to read Psalm 23, and I'm sure everyone knows this psalm, but it's just such a beautiful and just wonderful reminder of who the Lord is in our life. So, here we go. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. And whoever had this Bible before me had highlighted and written some stuff in here. And one thing that he or she wrote in here is, you will only find rest in his hands, and let him lead you. And when it talks about his rod and his staff, they comfort me when I'm beat down, broken. And that resonated so much with me. I'm like, are you sure I didn't write this somewhere? And then later on she talks about, where she highlighted, or he highlighted, you anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. And this happens, how she wrote it here, which I think it does, we do need to do this. She says here, he says, when we submit to God, this is when we're anointed with oil. We need to submit our lives, humble ourselves, submit ourselves to the Lord, and he will comfort us. He will be there with us. He will walk with us. He will take care of us, and he will help us through the fear. So in the next video, I will share, this looks like a reflection from C.S. Lewis on Psalm 23, 1 through 6. So this is it's already 40 minutes long, so I will share that in the next vlog. All right, guys, thank you for joining me, and I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. And if you have any prayer requests, please leave them in the comments below. Love to hear from you guys. Thank you. God bless you. Bye.